but I'm not a big believer in peaking. But I am a big believer in something called the hangover rule. And the hangover rule comes from many conversations I've had with world record holders in the throws. Now, this might not be true in the pole vault or high jump, where you know what's going to happen, you know how high the bar is. But in the throws, I wouldn't be surprised if in the other events, you could go back to the 68 Olympics with Lee Evans' famous 400-meter run, is very often a person breaks the world record when they have absolutely no expectations for improvement. I don't want to mention names, but I know of two current world record holders who, on the morning of the event, were extremely sick by bad decisions the night before. One famously threw up in a rose bush. The meet director walked over and said, you know, things look pretty good today. And so our future world record holder stands up, takes an easy throw, but that easy throw goes farther than it should. And as the competition progresses, everything is working, new world record, everybody's happy. I know this has happened several times, but I also think that this is the way of biology. This is the way the human body works. If you go into the gym 3, 4, 5 days a week and you work with the body, you don't stress it. You know, that's one thing I like about the work of Phil Maffetone and Mark Allen. You know, beating yourself down, just beat yourself down. Working with your body tends to lead to extraordinary performance. Well, the hangover rule reminds us that sometimes your best performances happen out of nowhere. I even got to tie this into real life. For those of us who are in relationships that last a long time, very often we tried to plan getting into a great relationship. But usually what happens is a number of bizarre factors link up and you end up meeting the love of your life. Like in the book 40 Years with the Whistle, I talk about meeting Tiffany. Basically, I was tired of the whole dating scene. I was never going to go out again. My assistant coach said, will you be my wingman at this party? I show up. He's being set up with Tiffany. 32 years later, here we are. No planning at all. I think that's how the world works in many cases. Things will knit together, sing together, and all of a sudden, boom, amazing things happen. I'm reading the book now, the autobiography of the guy who came up with fractals. And he's a big believer that the reason he was so successful is these random small events and learning experiences and odd bumping into people who said this funny thing allowed him to come to that leap in thinking that we now call fractals. So I just think that the hangover rule reminds me of the importance of getting the work in reasonably over time and letting everything build up in a natural way. So when it is time to perform, amazing things happen.